know that, and I know that, but Sasha doesn't know that.
Is there a problem with Willow Spencer's recovery?
If what I'm looking for isn't here, why should I stay?
All you need to know, Drew got everything he deserved. Please tell me we're pressing charges.
Drew, buckle up, buddy. You've got round 3 with Sunny coming, round 4 when Carly catches wind of this, and let's not forget round 5 when Nina finally pieces it all together. Good luck surviving the fallout, seriously. And can we talk about Jason? The look he gave Drew before knocking him out, chef's kiss. That was vintage Jason. The cold, calculating, no-nonsense enforcer we all know and love. For a while there, he seemed a little too mellow, like someone swapped his spark for a battery-operated nightlight. But nope, the fire is back. Love to see it. By all means, press charges, Drew. Let everyone watch the video and finally see just what a slimy piece of work you really are. Not sure you'll have many allies left when that plays out. Meanwhile, Trina's in perpetual rage mode. Again, is she ever not angry? And Sam dies, but everyone's back to their regularly scheduled programming the next day. Real touching. Oh, and Robert and Holly just up and leave. Leaving Sasha high and dry? Nice teamwork, folks. Michael, sweet, spineless Michael. Can someone please tell him to quit sulking and, I don't know, maybe grow a backbone? His inability to confront anyone about Drew and Willow is downright embarrassing. Stop dragging it out and just spill already. And Lucky, oh Lucky, they brought him back for what exactly? He couldn't even save his sister. Now we're stuck listening to his constant whining. Pro tip, less pity party, more action. Your kid deserves better. Then there's Molly who, for reasons beyond human comprehension, avoids her husband at all costs. Poor TJ has tried again and again, but nope, she'd rather chat with literally any other man. What's the deal? He deserves so much better than this. And Trina again. Overreact much? When someone is actively apologizing and trying to fix things, maybe, just maybe, don't go full drama queen. Christina's guilty of the same thing. Honestly, both of them might want to hit up an acting class or two because these performances aren't cutting it. As for Drew, he got exactly what he had coming. Acting like the innocent victim. Please, and Nina, instead of pointing fingers at Jason, how about asking a few questions and getting the full story for once? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Rick always knows how to stir the pot, doesn't he? Drew had it coming though. He spent so much time looking down on Jason, acting like he's somehow better. That punch? Well, let's just say it wasn't surprising, and Drew may have learned a thing or two from it. Honestly, Jason wasn't wrong. Drew hurt Michael in one of the most personal ways possible, and now Rick's somehow involved. That's a twist. The real question is, when Carly finds out what Willow did, will she also uncover Michael's secrets? It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, and Drew? Maybe it's time for him to keep his distance from Willow for everyone's sake. As for Trina, her scenes today felt a little dramatic, like they're testing the waters for a new romantic interest. It's clear they're exploring some possibilities, but the portrayal could use a little more balance. Lucky, on the other hand, could use a fresh start. A makeover, a stronger storyline, and a little more focus could do wonders for his character. There's potential there if they let him grow. Meanwhile, Jason stepping up and confronting Drew was a highlight. Drew and Willow as a couple feel a little heavy and could use a refresh. On a more hopeful note, it would be great to see Sasha in a new chapter, maybe even starting a family. And Rick? He hasn't forgotten that time Jason gave him a much-needed reality check years ago. It's hard not to chuckle at how those old grudges resurface. Ned's witty remark, "Don't get any blood on the upholstery," added just the right amount of humor to lighten the moment. It's good to see Jason still looking out for Michael and showing he hasn't lost his edge. That punch reminded us of the protector he's always been, and it was satisfying to see him step into that role once again. They're really making Michael come across as way too forgiving, and it's a little frustrating to watch. He deserves better than to be pining for someone who seems more interested in his uncle. Let Willow go her own way if that's where her heart is. Michael doesn't need to beg for love. This storyline needs to wrap up soon. At first, I thought Michael was being too lenient with Willow, but it's clear he's holding back because of his own guilt over his night with Sasha. He's giving Willow the chance to come clean before he lets his inner Corinthos take over. Honestly, this slow burn is intriguing. It's setting the stage for a much bigger fallout later. Michael's patience won't last forever, and when he snaps, it's going to be explosive. Side note, how did nobody overhear Drew and Willow's not-so-quiet conversation? They weren't exactly subtle. The drama is practically writing itself. In 9 months, we're looking at baby Gilmore Corinthos on one side, and who knows, maybe a dramatic twist with twins by Willow, one for each Corinthos. Talk about complications. It's clear Jason knows exactly what's going on, and he's just biding his time. Once Drew and Willow realize Michael is aware of their actions, the fireworks will start. Jason, true to form, delivered his message without causing a scene, just enough to make his point. Now he's leaving it up to Michael to decide how to handle things. Meanwhile, Carly needs to find out the truth sooner rather than later. Jason holding back feels temporary, and when the whole story comes out, it'll create the kind of public fallout we've been waiting for. Carly tends to bring the drama to light in ways no one else can. And why does Willow have to be the one always cleaning up Drew's messes? Tucking Scout into bed, playing caregiver, it's all a little too much. Michael's patience here is remarkable, but it's starting to wear thin. He knows the truth about Willow and Drew, and it's time for him to address it head-on. At this point, a clean break and a fresh start seem like the best solution for everyone involved. The scene between Christina and Molly was such a sweet moment. Hopefully, for their mother's sake, they won't let Rick and Eva's interference undo the progress they've made. It does feel like the writers are testing Molly with different potential storylines, including a possible romantic interest. Her friendship with Dex is refreshing, though, and I'd rather they keep it as that. As for Trina, it's nice to see her getting a new love interest, but the casting feels like it could have been stronger. The Willow and Drew storyline, though, it feels stale at this point. It's hard to root for it when it's dragging so much. I loved Michael and Willow as a couple and the dynamic of Willow being Nina's daughter, but now it's difficult to feel sympathy for Willow. At this stage, it seems like she doesn't deserve the support of either Michael or Nina. And Nina running to Willow for help with Drew? That felt unnecessary. She could have handled putting ice on his face without involving Willow. Honestly, it seems like Nina's more focused on Drew than her daughter's marriage, which is disappointing. This week's episodes overall feel like filler, with little meaningful progress in the storylines. Michael running around dropping vague hints while conveniently ignoring his own mistakes is getting repetitive. Meanwhile, Jason's juggling his responsibilities with Danny, and instead of resolving those, he's busy punching Drew, which admittedly was deserved. The fallout from Sam's death feels like it's in limbo. There's been no clarity about whether her funeral will happen soon, or if they're leaving it unresolved for now. And then there's the Christina versus Eva storyline, which is dragging toward an outcome that seems inevitable. The most unsettling moment, though, has to be Willow and Drew hooking up in the nursery of all places. It's not just inappropriate, it's downright disrespectful. Doing that in the Quartermain mansion, under everyone's noses, was bad enough, but the nursery? That crosses a line. Jason has already delivered a clear message to Drew, and maybe it's time for Christina to do the same to Willow. Michael is more than capable of handling himself, and Jason stepping in to hit Drew felt unnecessary. Michael doesn't need constant protection, and it wasn't Jason's place to confront Drew like that. That said, I can't wait for Carly to find out what Willow has done. She may not throw punches like Jason, but her verbal takedown will be just as brutal, and I'm here for every fiery word. Carly has a way of cutting to the core, and this will definitely be a moment to watch. Drew's confrontation may have been overdue, but now that it's happened, maybe it's time to send him off to DC. His constant need for attention and reassurance from everyone is starting to wear thin. Meanwhile, Ned might not want to air the family's dirty laundry, but at some point, the truth about Drew and Willow will come out, especially now that Lois is in the loop. As for today's episode, it felt a little scattered. The focus on Trina and TJ didn't add much, and Molly's birthday storyline felt like filler. Christina's ongoing reaction to the accident has dragged on, and it's overshadowing other storylines. And Michael being written as passive in all this is frustrating. It's time for him to step up and confront both Willow and Drew. Jason hitting Drew might have been the highlight of the episode, but the story needs to pick up the pace and give Michael his moment to stand tall. Trina's character seems perpetually upset, and she's starting to resemble her mother, strong-willed and outspoken, but perhaps too much so at times. The twist with Willow and Drew, where mother and daughter unknowingly share the same romantic partner, is certainly a lot to take in. Jason punching Drew was a standout moment, and it's hard not to imagine what would have happened if Ned hadn't stepped in. Jason cleaning house? That would have been a sight. Meanwhile, Molly's storyline with Dr. Isaiah Gannon seems to be heading towards something, though it feels a bit predictable. And the jokes about 9 months from now, whether it's baby Gilmore Corinthos or even twins by Willow, are enough to keep the drama interesting. Here's hoping the storylines start tying together soon, with some well-deserved confrontations and big reveals to keep viewers invested. Watching today's episode, it feels like Molly and TJ are heading toward an inevitable split. Their marriage seems strained, and neither seems fully invested anymore. Molly's connection to Sunny and Jason has always been a sticking point for TJ, and he's made it clear it's hard for him to deal with. It wouldn't be surprising if Molly does end up cheating, given the tension. Meanwhile, Michael telling Carly about Drew and Willow next week, followed by Carly confronting Drew, is setting the stage for big changes. If Drew leaves town, it seems likely Willow might go with him, and perhaps Scout will end up with Danny and Jason in the process. Trina had every right to feel the way she did. She just met this man and doesn't know him, so her cautious approach makes sense. School, art, and family are important to her, and she's always been someone who stands up for her values. Her point about doing your own work in school and not relying on others is valid, even if it came off a bit strong. Trina is passionate, and it's one of her defining traits. As for Michael, today's episode felt like a missed opportunity. I was hoping he'd finally confront Willow and get everything out in the open, but he held back. It's frustrating to watch him have these chances, like when he was with Ned, and still say nothing. Maybe he's waiting for Willow to confess, but watching her fawn over Drew like Florence Nightingale is tough to stomach. The scene with her whispering to Drew about whether Jason knows, that didn't help. Carly seems to sense something is off, and once she finds out, we all know she'll handle it in her signature no-nonsense style. The fallout will be explosive, and while it's taking its time to build up, it could make up for the awkwardness of watching Drew and Willow together. Fingers crossed Carly gets the truth soon. It'll be worth the wait. Michael's silence might stem from wanting Willow to come clean first, but hopefully he reaches his breaking point soon. When he does, the dominoes will start falling, and Nina's reaction alone will be worth the wait. Jason's confrontation with Drew was powerful. He made his feelings crystal clear. As for Willow, she's been acting more openly bold lately. Her decision to ask Drew, in front of a room full of people, whether Jason knows about their relationship shows she's not exactly hiding her feelings anymore. Michael's hesitation to confront Willow about what he knows is becoming frustrating. It's time for him to address the situation head-on and bring the truth to light. Drew's actions are bound to catch up with him. Carly's eventual reaction will likely be intense. Jason may have confronted Drew physically, but Carly's sharp words will surely make a lasting impact. Watching her take charge and demand answers will be a moment worth watching. Felicia's recent behavior has been a bit overbearing. Her attempt to persuade Sasha that Holly is a good person seemed to step outside professional boundaries. Additionally, her assertive demeanor has felt a little much at times, making it harder to empathize with her character. A more balanced and supportive approach in her scenes could help create a stronger connection with viewers. Curtis's stance on different issues has been somewhat confusing. While he seemed fine with Nina's actions during Sonny's disappearance, he doesn't seem bothered by Drew's betrayal of Michael either. Yet, he was strict about his wife keeping secrets related to her job. His character's inconsistencies make it harder to understand his motivations, but perhaps they'll clarify his perspective in future episodes. Lastly, it's surprising that Sam's loss hasn't been highlighted more with flashbacks involving other characters. Sam had significant relationships with so many people, and showing how her absence impacts them could have added depth to the storyline. Exploring those connections would have brought a richer emotional resonance to the current narrative. What Jason did to Drew was just a taste of what's coming once Carly finds out the full truth. When the Nina, Drew, or Willow situation comes to light, Carly's wrath will be something else. No one will escape unscathed when she starts holding people accountable for hurting her son. In my opinion, Drew definitely got what was coming to him from Jason. He's been eyeing Michael's wife for months, and it's clear that both Drew and Willow share responsibility for what happened. While Willow is the one who crossed the line first, Drew was equally complicit. I'm just glad Jason finally gave him a reality check. Hopefully, it'll make Drew think twice about his actions. It's a bit surreal to think that Jason is now in the same age group that Alan and Monica were when he had his accident, or even when Robert and Leslie were dealing with their own family dramas. It's a reminder of how time passes and how some of the predictions about pairings with younger characters feel a bit out of place now. Jason's reaction to Drew was so parental, especially considering how much he's taken on the role of a father figure to Michael. He's always been there for him, and it's clear he cares deeply. Drew's actions were beyond just a betrayal. They were a violation of trust, and Jason was right to stand up for Michael. Robert's decision to leave town with Holly doesn't make a lot of sense, especially given how little communication he had with Mac and Anna. And now, just after learning he has another daughter, he's off to be with Holly, a woman he knows has a complicated and, frankly, questionable past. It's strange to see Robert act so recklessly. What's going on with his character? If Jason's response was that intense, Carly's reaction to Willow's betrayal will be next level. When Carly finds out, I can't imagine the storm it'll create. It's going to be hard for Willow to escape her fury. I also saw that Monica might not be returning. If that's true, and given that Jason is her son, does that mean she might leave the Quartermain mansion to him? It could be a great opportunity for Jason to take control of his legacy and potentially shake things up at the mansion. It would certainly be interesting to see him navigate that. Trena's reaction to her class partner not showing up for a project felt a bit over the top. It doesn't really seem to fit with her character, especially since she's usually more mature. I could understand her giving him a side eye or maybe being a little disappointed, but her anger seemed more like something a spoiled teenager would do, and that's not how Trina is typically portrayed. As for Michael, I don't get why some people are questioning why he's not doing more regarding Willow and Drew. Michael is very much his father's son. He knows how to play the long game and wait for the perfect moment to strike. When he's ready, he'll make his move, and it will be powerful. I think Jack Brennan was spot on when he described Drew as a user and abuser, willing to do anything to gain power. Drew really does embody the Quartermain mentality, doing whatever it takes to get what he wants, even if it means destroying marriages and families along the way. This may just be the first of many beatdowns Drew's going to face. He better be on guard, because betrayal is coming from unexpected places. As for Nina, maybe she didn't want to feel like she was settling for Carly's leftovers, which might explain why she hasn't told Willow about Drew. It's pretty messy how Drew's actions have impacted both mother and daughter, and his behavior with both of them is hard to ignore. It's a complicated web, and it seems like Drew is playing both sides to get what he wants. Also, did anyone notice what was in Jason's hand at the end of the show? It almost seemed like the fight was staged, maybe as a way to retrieve something he had planned to get all along. Drew definitely deserved the confrontation Jason gave him, though, honestly, I think it should have been Michael delivering the beatdown. As much as Nina is starting to develop feelings for Drew, it's clear that Drew is just using her, which is really sad to watch unfold. It's especially disappointing that TJ didn't remember Molly's birthday, but at least Christina remembered her sister's special day. Rick's conversation with Eva was eye-opening, reminding her of the darker parts of her past. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.